Hi, Zizaran here with a Everything Explained video. I'm a little short on time, so this will be a little bit scuffed, but for those that are new to the Everything Explained formats, this is basically a video where I will make a new character from scratch and try to explain everything. A little bit more rushed than normal. I have several one of these previously for other builds, that are probably going to go more in detail. Normally, this goes to like Act 8 or 9 or 10. But we do have a stalling in 4 hours, so we'll see how far we get. But the majority of the information is very front-loaded anyway. It is in the start. So Act 1 is going to be very slow, and then we'll speed up, and I'll start playing faster. So to start, you need to have Path of Exile, and you do need a third-party program. It's very important, called Path of Building. And then we can link, this is what I'm going to be following. This is a collab I'm doing with I'm Exile. And through this, you'll be able to see, like, it'll be very step-by-step what we're doing. I'll just be following this to the letter for this. It's very easy to follow. So once you've installed Path of Exile, you'll, I think when you create a character the first time, it goes directly in on this. I think this is what you're greeted with. And there will be seasons. So right now it's only standard. These are the permanently. This is always here, never gets reset. And then the 326 expansion is starting soon. And I would recommend that you play on the something Trathus, I guess is the actual season name. And you'll be missing the Scion. She's unlocked later. But yeah, let's start. Right, we are going to start a Marauder.
Enough to face the land of the damned, Marauder? We offered you truth, yet still.
Let's see. Right. So when we start, graphics aren't that important. There's nothing you really need to change here. If you're having lag issues, switching between Dynamics and Vulkan can help. You do need a loot filter. If you go to filterblade.xyz, there's like instructions and stuff there to like install a basic never-sync filter. So I don't think the game itself comes. I guess there is a default filter, but you do really want a filter anyway. So I'll show you real quick. If you go here, you can download a filter. There's like basic ones, etc. And this needs to be in this folder as a .filter file. So it's pretty straightforward to install. Once you've got that, I'll just scroll through my settings so you can see it's things like showing sockets on gear, which we'll come to later, automatically. I really like having land spur transparency gone from my map, but that's just a preference thing. Other settings that matter, always show sockets, show life mana levels, and then I have all of these enabled. These are good. And then I like having a pink cursor so it's easier to see. So, Path of Exile, bit of a complicated game, very overwhelming. And I will try to talk you through a lot of it, especially in the start. I'm going to skip the tutorial because I am your tutorial. We're going to pick up the weapon, and here in start, you'll see that this is an item in Path of Exile, and it has some sockets on it. Once we have that equipped and we talk to the dying exile, we'll kill the hungry corpse. Now we get our first gem, and sometimes you get loot. That's RNG. Now, gems in Path of Exile are unlike games you might have played, like Diablo, where it's part of your character, and like, let's say that the Marauder gets Heavy Strike, right? In some other games. Here, you could be a witch, you could be a ranger, and also use Heavy Strike as your main for the build. We are at the start going to switch default attack to move only. So the only thing you need to have now is Heavy Strike here and move only. And we have that in the Driftwood Club. Now, another thing that's interesting while we're moving and we're walking, you can also put move only on buttons like T, but you can put it in the chest. Like, it doesn't need to be in your weapon to do damage. There we get our first support gem. And now you can see, now we do actually need to put it back in the cloud because you see that these two are linked. So these could not be linked. There could be a socket there and a socket there that aren't linked together. Then putting the support gem in would just do nothing. So Heavy Strike just gives us this ability here. And Ruthless makes that every third attack deals more damage. Also, on the Heavy Strike, you want to click it and do always attack without moving. A good thing to get used to early. It's If you've played other RPGs, it's the same functionality as holding shift to attack in place. Now, a number one thing that I like teaching players really early, this isn't something you need to do, but it is something you need to know, and that is the power of mobility in games. So, you can see that he's not able to even hit me. So just like being aware of this can make the entire game infinity times easier. It's like something I do like showing early. I can literally run here forever. And a lot of bosses means that you can do this then and not get hit. Because like in the start, you'll see most people will just be doing the boss like this and using your healing potions, which you can find in the bottom left at 1, 2, and then mana on 5. You do need to use potions, but mobility is very important. So we picked up a bunch of items, so let's go into town, our first town out of 10 towns, and we'll talk about items, rarity, and wisdoms. So we got a wand, which not very interesting to us. We are a melee class, so we're not going to use a wand, but we did get an iron ring. This is one of the best things that Halo could drop for us. So I'm going to identify that. It's a bit archaic, but we do identify our items in Path of Exile. And then I'll equip that. So this gives me more damage now. It's very good. The rest of the items, we can swap out and use the Driftwood Maul, but the rest of the items we can sell. And then you'll see that I'm about to get Transmutation Shards, and we'll keep the Ruthless Support because we want to use that on our new ability. Transmutation Shards, once you have 20 of them, becomes an Orb of Transmutation, which gives you the ability to craft an item. And that will basically turn a white item, or normal, into a magic item, or blue. So we use those terms interchangeably. Normal or white, and magic and blue.
Fine work with Hill.
Here we're going to pick up Ground Slam, and then we're going to put that with Ruthless. And then you can check out the vendor, and you might have, for example, the triple red here is very nice. So if you see that on like a helmet, a glove, a boot, or a chest, and you see a triple red or a 2 red and 1 green, I would recommend buying that. So these are 3 linked sockets. We can't use this until level 6, but we see that these are 3 linked. Now I'm going to scare you by opening the passive skill tree. This is really scary when you're a new player. That's why we recommend the path of building, and that's why we make our build guides very step by step so that you don't get lost or overwhelmed. We have a new ability now, and this also needs to be clicked, always attack without moving. Now, you can see that Bestel has an exclamation mark. And we are going to do Bestel's quest. We don't need to talk to Bestel. There are some games where you need to accept every quest, etc. There are only 2 or 3 NPCs in the entire campaign that you need to talk to. Generally, we just hand in quests. That's also a good thing to learn early. I'll try to just explain everything as we're going along. There will be some things that I'm lying about or omitting because there may be only exceptions at the end game that realistically don't matter. Also, you can see all the hotkeys for the different things here. Like inventory is I, character screen is C, and the passive tree is P. But right now, we're going to continue. Nothing else we need to do right now. When you're a new player, you will be full clearing a lot. It'll feel very natural to you to be like clicking on everything and killing every monster you see. You will notice that I'm not doing that because I, as an experienced player, know exactly how much I can run ahead, where I need to kill, what I need to kill, and you'll see that I'm mostly focusing on larger groups, etc. And a lot of that as well, I will keep doing some of it just to like keep the video on the shorter end, and like I said, I don't have a ton of time. I do like doing these, especially because they're so information heavy in the start. And this is also what I'm going to be playing at League launch. So this is a very good build. And it's a very simple build to play. That's an Orb of Augmentation. So once you transmute an item, or we previously talked about, and it turns blue with 1 stat, what is going to happen is that the augmentation can fill in the other stat. So a blue item can have a prefix and a suffix. Pre is whatever comes before the name, so in this case hail, and the suffix is cloud. And a total max stats you can have on an item is 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. And that is on a rare or yellow item, which we'll come to later. The Mudflats as well is strangely, relatively to your strength, the most dangerous zone in the game. So if you die repeatedly here, don't be too discouraged. You have very, very little stuff at this point, and they hurt. So it's very likely that even like some of the best players die here on their first character in the season when we're trying to go fast. Picking up that row nest as well actually like debuffs or buffs the monsters around it, making them scarier. You can see here I'm actually killing a lot more, and I'm trying to move a little diagonally compared to my enemy. And you can see that I'm a little bit like intimidated by trying to click the quest reward while there's a lot of rows around it. You might also notice that I'm not picking up like every white item. I'm mostly focusing on blues. So it's up. I'm guessing that's the quest reward for where we're handing it in. Or not. Oh, it should be. And we're going to continue following along the skill points exactly the way the Path of Building says. Oh, it is here. It is where we handed in. So, very scary in the start. Ooh. There, I got all of it. Playing chests and stuff is not terrible, as long as they don't slow you down too much. Okay, we got another skill point. Oh, and when you are playing this in 326, this will pause the game when you're open up pause. That's a newly added feature that we don't have access to until Friday, so tomorrow. So, now that we have this waypoint, which is like our way to travel through raid class, we're gonna go straight back to the coast. And then we're gonna go to Tidal Island. Because we have a quest, the one Bestel was offering us, so we haven't accepted yet, and we're gonna do that quest now. And again, never feel bad about over clearing in Path of Exile. There's not really such a thing as killing too much or being too slow when you're a new player. And whenever you see that like I'm moving from one zone to another, and you can do this at waypoints too, you can actually hold control. It opens up a panel that lets you make a new zone of a zone that you've already visited, and everything will respawn. Similar to visiting a bonfire in Elden Ring. So if you're feeling weak, you can farm a zone until you're 5 or 6 levels higher and then proceed. That's very commonly done on hardcore mode. So Hailray actually has the best AI in the game. A little funny to mention. He's the only AI that'll actually try to track you. Everything else is completely dumbfounded by circles. We'll use a portal scroll here. Let's just go back to town. Could also log to character screen. Very common. You'll see a lot of good players doing that. We identified rare boots, and here we have our first rare item. So if I hold Alt, and I'll show another setting, and I don't know if I showed already. Is it this one? No. Did they remove the setting and just make it default? The Alt thing? Is it just default now? Maybe it's just default. Okay, it's default now. If you hold Alt on the item, it'll show like the name of the affixes. So here, like infixed, hail, runner, Inuit, pupil, and newt. So the important one here is movement speed. And then resists are also incredibly important in Path of Exile. The intelligence is also really good for our build. And in our build, we are actually taking versatility early on just for the intelligence. These boots would technically let me not take that, but this would be some of the best boots that I could possibly find. We're also going to identify the gloves because that can have resists, life, some basic defenses as well, and damage. So let me talk about the basic defenses in Path of Exile because we now have all 3 of them. So you have evasion, which simply lets you evade attacks by monsters. You have energy shield, which is basically like life, but it recharges on its own after you haven't taken damage for a bit. And you have armor, which when a monster hits you for physical damage, it'll lower the amount of physical damage that you're taking. We'll keep that here, and we'll sell everything else. And we're going to take the reward Quicksilver, and we're going to take the reward Chance to Bleed. And then we're going to sell these. We're going to keep the chest plate, and we're going to keep the support gem and the boots. So this is what my inventory looks like now. And then once I get level 6, I'll be able to put on the chest and swap my gems to that, and then we'll get one more support gem. For now, though, we're going to swap out Ruthless with Chance to Bleed because it is slightly better. And you might have noticed so far I've only been getting Transmutation Shards, but if I sold an identified item... Oh, that one has 6 stats. That sells for an Orb of Augmentation. But if this had 5 or less stats and was rare, it would sell for Alteration Shards. And while Transmute will turn a white item into a blue item, a Orb of Alteration will reroll the stats on that blue item. Let's see. Here we're going to get... I mean, we can pick up Decoy Totem. It's always useful early. Shield Charge. You'll see like speedrunners use Shield Charge very early, but we're not going to do that. And we are going to buy Frost Blink. That's all we need here.
We are blessed.
Decoy Totem on E. It'll be very useful as a new player. You'll love it. And then once I get the boots, I'll be able to use Frost Blink. Or I think at level 6 or so, we'll have Versatility. And somebody in chat asked a good question, so I'll answer that. And you can see how good the Decoy Totem is now. Like, it's basically tanking while I just get to do damage. Somebody asked a question, since PoE 2 is out, is it better to start with PoE 2 or PoE 1? Path of Exile 2 is simpler, there's less stuff in the game, and it just frankly has better new player onboarding. So, for a lot of people, Path of Exile 2 ends up being like, almost a tutorial for PoE 1. So I've switched around so I was able to equip my new boots, and now you can see I'm able to wear Frostblink. I put that on spacebar. I do the same thing with always attack without moving. On the off chance that somebody went for dash instead of Frostblink, it's worth mentioning that dash is the only skill gem that you don't want to put always attack moving with. It makes you go backwards. Pick up another iron ring, and these are good things to use wisdom scrolls to buy from the vendor. That 1 to 4 lightning damage makes a big difference early, because we don't do that much damage. We're gonna place another skill point, just more melee physical damage. And now that we've started explaining a little bit of damage and stuff, let's talk a little bit about gem tags and how you know what works with what. So here on the gem, you can see at the top it says attack, AoE, slam, and melee. And at the bottom of the green text, it says what it can be used with. So if I picked up a sword, I could not use crown slam. And then another thing that's important to mention, you do see in the bottom right here that an E for chance to bleed is being highlighted. So that's how we know that the chance to bleed support is working. But you can also hover over either the ground slam and chance to bleed and see that they're both highlighting. Another good way to know. So like I said, obviously these are very, very information heavy in the start because there is so much to explain. You might also notice that I'm almost always killing blue monsters. And that is because blue monsters give 3 times more XP than a normal monster, and a rare monster gives 5 times more.
My mana is gone.
You also saw that I picked up a medium life flask here, and what that does is it is a better version of the small one. It'll just heal for more, almost double. So throughout the campaign, we're going to be upgrading our flasks often. And later, we'll get more and more utility flasks. Like we already have the Quicksilver, which makes us faster when we use it. You'll get a lot of different flasks. Here is like a little mini boss. We're just going to put Decoy Totem down. He'll focus on that. You can like try to dodge the like red things, but especially as long as he's attacking our decoy and not us, he's not doing that much damage to us anyway. Mostly just get to beat him. And this is with just using a white driftwood maul. Obviously we could have weapons with actual damage on them. But there's no need for us to try to craft anything at this point. We are just fine with the damage we have. Alright. We're gonna pick up everything, and a lot of that is because we want to vendor things. Now get rid of that old plate vest. There. There. A little bit of Tetris. So now you can see that I have Ruthless And you can see that if I hover the chance to bleed, it highlights the ground slam, and the ruthless highlights the ground slam. Or if I hover over the ground slam, it highlights both of them. So now we're on a 3 link. We can portal out, or we could simply log to character screen. Both are okay options, because you will run out of scrolls early. And now we can talk to Tarkley.
You managed.
And I will grab my book of skills, another skill point there. We're gonna vendor pretty much everything. Now, I've found a blue, a red, and a green item, and it doesn't matter which one is red, which one is green, which one is blue, but if you have a linked item with one of each color, this sells for a chromatic orb, which will recolor an item. Recoloring an item is based on its stats. A strength item will favor red sockets, a dex item will favor green sockets, and a int item will favor intelligence, or blue. And you see these stats here, that's how we get them. We can also get stats on gear, like you see that here. So we go here, we're getting 20 strength, and obviously we will have way more strength than we need, but we do need to pick up versatility early, and that's how we are able to equip gear and use gems. Like later on, it'll be like 150 strength or intelligence needed for various support gems or armor and things like that.
Greetings.
That's a lot to take in early. So now, for example, you can see that I'm vendoring a bunch of things because we do need a lot of transmutations, but I will need some alterations as well. So I'm identifying this armor, even though I have no intention of wearing it. You can see that I'm getting 9 alteration shards from this.
Farewell.
And then I have a Whispering Essence of Greed. We'll use that later, but basically, this is similar to an orb called an Alchemy that we don't have yet. What an Alchemy does is it will use it on a white item. It'll turn that white item rare with at least 4 modifiers, guaranteed up to 6. Essence does the same thing, but it guarantees 1 property. So if I use this on a glove, it'll guarantee between 5 and 14 life. Let's see. We're gonna check the vendor now, and we were looking for. This would have been good if it was white and only cost 1 transmute. 2 is a little bit expensive. But we are looking for a jade chopper next.
Stay sharp out there.
So if you have a jade chopper in your vendor, and how does the vendor work? When does it reset? It'll add and remove some items every time you level up. We'll add and remove some items every time you level up. We also have a decent chance of finding decent upgrades just by progressing. Like I said, right now we have okay damage for what we're doing. The iron rings are doing the carrying right now.
My money is gone.
We're just moving through here. And obviously the decoy totem is so nice too. Now, sometimes you might notice that like you don't see items on the ground, even though you might have seen one actually physically drop, or you're hovering over them. So click Z, and that fixes that. Or Z, depending on where you're from. There's a lot of dangerous monsters in Ray class as well. Those birds that you just saw me kill are one of the more dangerous monsters. What they'll do is they will eat a corpse, and then they will do this that they're about to do. That does a lot of damage. And don't feel bad if you're like going slow or you're dying a lot. Like, sometimes even like professional game reviewers of Path of Exile have taken crazy long hours to get through the campaign. So your first time through the campaign might take as much as 10 to 20 hours. And obviously, I'll be going faster than that, but that's more because of the video. Obviously, you can pause and catch up. And like I said, you can't be over-leveled in PoE, really. Don't worry about that as a new player. There's a 3 red link helmet, which is good. The ideal is just making sure that we don't have 3 links on our weapon. The reason for that, let's say that this Driftwood Maul had 3 red links on it, and that's what we were using to do damage with. A bad thing that ends up happening now is that if I find a really good weapon, it might be painful for me to swap off of that. So, while it doesn't matter, like, it doesn't do more damage if it's on my weapon, but being able to upgrade and change our gear is very important. And we're in the climb. Very dangerous zone. Lots of goats. You do have animation cancelling in Path of Exile as well. Not super important, but you can see like if I see that, like I can click away and stop it as long as it's not too far through the animation. Not used as much by new players. We'll see. There's a rustic sash, that is important, and we do want that. That'll give us more physical damage. I'm going to ignore that mechanic, it's not super important. If you open it, you can just kill everything. But it is an endgame mechanic that you will not see until the endgame. You basically break enemies out of stasis. I think it's a bit too early to show that anyway. This can give you some gear upgrades though. Okay. We can now go back to town here, and here we are also able to get a new gem. So even though we haven't completed a quest, just by being here, we get a reward.
The tail.
So we're gonna pick up faster attacks. We're gonna need that later. We don't necessarily need to use that now, but this gets us access to buy Maim. And we're going to buy Maim and use that instead of Ruthless.
Goodbye.
Also check the vendor and see if he has changed. He has. We can now buy a Jade Chopper. Now,
Stay sharp out there.
if I had something called a Blacksmith Whetstone, which is quality currency. So you can use a Blacksmith Whetstone on a weapon to give it up to 20 quality, but there is a recipe that if I had a blue or a rare rustic sash, I could sell, let's say, a rare rustic sash, this weapon, and a Blacksmith Whetstone, and I would get a really high physical damage Jade Chopper. We don't have access to that, so I'm going to use my essence on the chopper and hope for any damage. And then once I hit level 9, I'm able to use that for a big upgrade. That would be really nice. Now, obviously, we can't use this until level 9, so I could have waited. I could have waited at least until we're able to use it. What is the meta build this league? What I'm playing. At least for League Starter. I have a guide for this coming out with I'm Exile. So, this is a trial. This is basically a trap system where it'll do percentage-based damage. And they don't do that much damage in Act 1. Later on, they will do more damage. And this is what you need to do and complete to get to the Path of Exile Labyrinth, which is an endgame system that gives you subclasses. If you've ever played D&D or anything like that, it's effectively subclasses. They're called ascendancies. Also, you might have noticed I skipped like the rare large summoner. They're just really tanky, not usually worth killing. Very often, I will skip a bunch of rares. Again, nothing wrong with killing everything as a new player. It'll only make you stronger. It'll make things take longer, of course, but it's completely fine. Oops, dead end here. Once we get one more level, we get a large damage upgrade. So right now, I'm on 88 DPS. You can see that by hovering over here or by clicking C and clicking here. A bit of a mini boss there that we don't need to kill. But yeah, this ends up being basically a new tutorial for you. A hands-on video tutorial. You can kill this guy, because we're about to level. Then we can switch and show the weapon upgrade we're about to get. We're going from 88.78. And you might notice our damage did not increase just by leveling, because like there's very few like actual bonuses that you get by leveling. You just gain like a little bit of health and mana and stuff. But we are now able to take, I believe this is what we're taking next. Yes. So we'll go for Butchery. So let's talk a little bit more about the skill tree. It is very intimidating. Obviously, the POB, the Path of Building, tells you exactly what to take and when to take it. So you don't need to understand any of it. But these are called notables. And that's important for the end game later on. You can see that they're like slightly more special. These are travel nodes, but the small, like these that just give stats or these that give melee physical damage, all of them are called travel nodes. Then you have something called keystones. They're like build altering. Sometimes they can in a way be a downside, but also different upsides. So they're very build altering. Some of these wills have masteries. So for example, if I took this notable here, nomadic teachings, I would be able to choose an additional out of these 6. So they're like to give you a little bit more of like a dynamic access to your build and changing it a little bit more. We are now going to wear the Jade Chopper. The name is completely unimportant. It's only on unique items that matters. We haven't found any to talk about yet. You can see that my damage is going from now 93 to 190. Tell people to use the Path of Building community fork. There is no other Path of Building anymore. You Google Path of Building. That is the only thing that shows up. Now, this is a good thing to explain in Upper Prison. You might have noticed that I am running directly to the objective in every single zone, and you might be feeling like you are full clearing, which by the way, again, only a good thing. You're only going to be stronger for that. But you might have noticed that I am running pretty much directly to the next zone in almost every zone, and very little like backtracking or dead ends. So how am I doing that? Do I have some sort of secret map pack or anything? I have 25,000 hours in the game, and there are less than 50 possible generated layouts in every zone. And it's less complicated than Path of Exile 2. So you just sort of pick that up after a while of playing.
To meet its match, brute.
And again, don't be worried if you run into dead ends a lot. It doesn't matter. Alright. Barrels. So here we're going up against the first relatively difficult boss. It's called Brutus. Now, here's an interesting thing to display that even a lot of veterans don't know about. Whenever a boss is at 100% health, it virtually has none of its abilities. They actually gain their abilities the lower their health bar goes. This is true for every boss in Path of Exile. I love saying this because it's so fun that so many veterans don't know this. So you can see Brutus right now, he has that like chain hook that he tries to pull you in with at the start. But now that I'm in melee range, he's fully auto-attacking and he can't do anything else. And now I'll put down a decoy totem and start hitting him, and now he's going to gain a bunch of different abilities, like his big slam, another slam. But it's just an interesting thing. Also means you can get a little bit comfortable with their auto attack at the start. So as you can see now, we had really good damage for this, and the decoy totem, it does help a lot. And if you are able to master the whole like running around the boss, the entire game is going to be easy. Literally. Not exaggerating. We'll pick up the other blue.
I cannot carry
Oh, it's a 2x3. And then we'll just log out here. I mean, we could pick up the chrome instead. There. So I picked up 2 rares and a chrome item. I had no idea. 3,000 hours, and today I learned. I don't think I knew until I had like 14,000. Yeah, I was one of the people to point it out. Let's see. We don't have too many transmutes. Transmutes are very important. For several reasons. We don't really need alterations right now, so I'll tell everything here unidentified. Now, if you are a returning player and this is not your first character, I'm not going to do this because I want to simulate the experience as if it's my first time playing. The only thing that's different is there will be some recipes for the crafting bench that I already have. But the crafting bench is available to you on your first character. So if I was, well, first character of the league, I should say. So very early, you would actually have access to this as long as you have a hideout and a crafting bench. That means that you can actually get really good cold resistance for the first boss, Merail, already now. Now, if you're a new player, for whatever reason, they've actually waited all the way to Act 2 to give you a hideout. So if it's your literal fresh account, I'm going to wait until you have it so that I actually show the genuine experience. This is inspired by me being tilted by RuneScape guides, because in every RuneScape guide, they'll say, oh, I have this amazing great gear, but you don't need it. And then they proceed to do everything with the amazing great gear. Leap Slam is the ability we're picking up from Tarkly. And we need to buy another one called Intimidating Cry.
Stay sharp out there.
Now, we should also check the vendor and see if he
Welcome.
has a red and a green item, because we don't have that, and we do really want that. Any red green link. The problem is, this sort of has an energy shield on it, so it's kind of tricky to get this to be red and green. Now you gotta leave some by killing Brutus. Okay, this is nice, but we're not gonna do that. This would be our next axe upgrade. If only I didn't have movement speed. If only I didn't have so nice boots. Okay. That's annoying.
Stay sharp.
Okay, we
out
will
there.
get that eventually.
Hello.
Let's buy Intimidating Cry. Control F to open the search window. And then we have these two
Take
once we
care.
get a level up. Now, I'm going to do something that's just like a preference thing. It's also a good learning moment. If you hold control, you have a new hotbar, and you can see that I've changed some of those to Q and one to mouse button 5. You don't need to hold control to access this. You can just rebind them in the here. So you can see that I have mouse button 5 is use bounce skill 11. So I'm now going to put Frostblink there because that's where I like to use my Frostblink. So I won't need it there. So we're gonna have my Leap Slam there. Right. You can see that I can still use it even though it's not on my bar. Not necessarily something you need to do yourself, but explaining the existence of things can be good. 4,000 hours, never knew that. Yeah, part of why I love doing these every season, a little bit is inspired by Gucci Pradas. During one of my first Path of Exile universities, I was explaining something that was kind of basic. And Gucci is one of the best players in the game, and he learned something from them. It really goes to show how much of Path of Exile is shared knowledge. I'm gonna ignore that flask because it's unrealistic to get. Oh yeah, I'm level 10 now. Right. Also, so you are using an item filter by now, but if you hold Alt, it'll bypass the item filter and show things that are on the ground. We did find something right now that actually is kind of usable for us. But, like I talked about previously, we do have a rare item that has really good stats that I don't really want to lose. What I can do, however, is I can move my decoy totem. Let's kill this thing first. Owie. He hurts. Let's just kill this. You don't need to. But like I said, killing is always better than not killing. Let's move here. Alright. So, let me... I guess technically the easiest thing would be to chrome my chopper. But I do want to see if I can hit a red and a green on this. Bruh. Also, I'm holding shift. Okay, well that was a good teaching moment of why you should care about the base type. So this, since it's armor and energy shield, is likely to get red and blue, unlikely to get green. And I did end up not getting a red and a green. I'm probably just gonna take the L. And replace my gloves, even though they are really nice. Whoops, I don't need that. Put Intimidating Cry anywhere, doesn't matter. I like to have that on W. I usually use W for offensive abilities. Leap Slam here, and then faster attacks here. So to go over the gems I'm using currently, it's Crown Slam, Chance to Bleed, and Maim. Leap Slam and faster attacks. I have a Decoy Totem, I have a Frostblink, and I have an Intimidating Cry. So Zizaran, why are we using 2 movement abilities? You don't need to. You'll notice most people will. I forgot they added this thing. It's fascinating. It's like a new mechanic, I guess, that I rarely see. Jade Chopper, that one could be good. You kill this like unique, which is ghosted. Ghosts basically, they're a bit like loot goblins in Diablo, but they go inside enemies and buff them. Basically assign grades. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so get this. So now we picked up Butchery. Now, movement abilities in Path of Exile are really interesting. They have a cast time, or rather an attack time in this case. Same with another ability called Flame Dash, but that is only used when you're using it multiple times in a row. So you'll feel that the first one always feels incredible. And then if you use it twice, the second one feels really slow and sluggish, almost like you're lagging or there's some sort of delay. But if we are using, let's say, Leap Slam and then Frostblink, the Frostblink is always instant. So that's like sort of something speedrunners do. You don't need to as a new player. But I just wanted to explain the lag feeling that you might be feeling while spamming Leap Slam. So how we get around that is basically using Leap Slam every few seconds. And I just wanted to explain what I'm doing, even though you don't need to do that yourself. Like I said, I do want the video not to be forever. So I'll try to explain everything I'm doing, even if you don't necessarily feel the need to copy that. It isn't everything explained after all. Yeah, I do get that they're very top heavy. Right now we're going into a side zone and we are getting another skill point quest. This is obviously good to pick up on the way. And interestingly, even though there's a boss guarding this, called Strangle Charm, he froze me even. We can just leave. Since I'm unfrozen. We don't need to fight him. It has nothing to do with our skill point. He just guards the quest thing. You'll notice I'm just like clicking past all the yapping. Path of Exile does have lore and a really good story, but it takes most people a very long time to get into it. If you are interested in Path of Exile story, Kitten Cat Noodle has a really good lore series on YouTube that explains it really well without having to run around and talk to everyone. So now we're going to use our war cry. You can see there's a 2 there on our war cry, and now my next 2 strums do insane damage. So a war cry is basically a temporary buff. Sadly, our Leap Slam also uses that currently. It won't in the future, but we'll be using that for bosses. We continue going here. Could also pick up the life nodes. That's what we need, but we're kind of tanky already for what we're doing. No, I don't have build specific loot filters. I make a loot filter tomorrow before lunch. Let's see. Identify this. This one is really nice. So we can just do a quick check because it is a mace, so we can use it. It is more damage, so we will use that and then sell our old one. That's because physical damage is generally what we're trying to scale at the moment. And we are about to swap to Sunder, which it's gonna feel really good. You're gonna love this. So I'll vendor my inventory and then I'll go over the changes in what we've done. We've now got Sunder. I'm going to do always attack without moving on that. So we have Leap Slam, we have Intimidating Cry, I have Sunder, I have a Decoy Totem, and on my other bar I have a Frostblink. That could be on your first bar, obviously. Okay, I'm going to delete some things from my inventory that we don't need and aren't going to use. There, just to make it a little bit cleaner. Believe I've explained every orb I have except the Jeweler Orb. You might now have seen the socket system of Path of Exile, and like I mentioned, gems always go in gear. You can't insert one into your character. That is a PoE2 thing. But here you can see this is a 3 socket, and it's 2 link, and then this is unlinked. Now, you can have a 4 link, a 5 link, a 6 link as well. You can't have more than a 6 link on an item. And then that is also bound to item level. So if I hold Alt, you can see that there's something called the item level. This is basically so that you can't find the strongest item in the game now at level 12 or whatever. It is it is something that'll scale. So the highest item level currently in the game is item level 86. Nothing above that matters. So that's the highest mod that can spawn at item level 86. What else? Hey, we need to talk to Bestel, pick up the skill point. So it is based on item level, so I believe it's item level 25 for a 4 socket, item level 35 for a 5 socket, and 50 for a 6 socket. There are no item levels for links, and you will later find ways to bypass the item level requirement. So, for example, this could later be for linked, even though it is a low level item. Not super important. So now we're using Sunder, and you are probably feeling pretty happy about now. If you've ever wanted that like melee power fantasy and feeling me strong, me go bonk, this build will absolutely give you that. You might also notice that I'm not doing my war cries. And that's because I really don't need to.
Embrace me. I wait.
Alright, here's another essence. So the way those work, if you didn't follow the first time, I might have not explained it. You click it 3 times and then they break out. You have to fight them. Every essence has like different abilities. Some are scary, some are not. I guess we can pick up the mallet. It could be an upgrade. It's virtually the same we have. However, we did get a greater life loss. We're gonna put that out. So now I have 1 greater and 2 medium. Getting a large as well would have been nice. We just never found one, and I was too lazy to buy one. There you see that I used my Intimidating Cry for that rare, and then I one-hit the rare. So what Intimidating Cry does is it gives us a large damage debuff. Try not to go too heavy into explaining everything with numbers and stuff. Just give you a like broad explanation on how things work. We're recording some new Path of Exile Universities later today too, which will hopefully be up before launch. Maybe a bit after. I'm doing everything explained now, Marvelous, so this will explain a lot of this. This will be up later. So this explains basically what you're asking.
At last. I have
Like this series is basically like a play along. Like Bob Ross play along for new players. So this is Merail, first boss that we're gonna fight. She does really heavy cold damage. By now, ideally you would want cold resist, which we don't really have access to. But since we have none, let's go buy some. And there's a few ways to get it.
Yes?
Under those. So thankfully she's selling a sapphire ring. If she wasn't, since we have an iron ring, what I could do as well is I can buy Frostbling for 1 wisdom scrap and then sell my iron ring with a Frostbling and it turns into a sapphire ring.
Goodbye.
I'm not going to do that with my blue one. This is fine though. 30 cold res. If you already have a hideout at this point, you can on white items use the crafting bench and craft cold resist. But I'm going to not do that because I want this to be applicable to completely new players.
This is love's truth.
And do our war cry and just smack her. Now, here you can see that I'm really like moving a little bit back and forth. My decoy totem does like carry pretty hard. But if I get hit, she does do a lot of damage. Yeah, the decoy totem is super nice. I'm a huge fan of decoy, especially for new players. It'll carry ridiculously hard. Just killing her ads here. And then she'll have more ads in this stage. I'll put down decoy again, intimidating cry, and then we smack her. Just teleports around and summons minions each stage. We keep the decoy up, that makes the minions go to the decoy instead of us. There's a decoy after all. We got a bunch of rare items. We'll pick up everything. Now rare items will sell for more alteration charge, more transmutation charge than magic items will. The lapis amulet, we can pick that up. I don't think we have room for the goat horn. That's fine. We could do some Tetris, but I'm very lazy. Here. Let's see, just going to this one at the moment. Resto technique. Little mini boss here. I mean, you could just one hit him or 2 hit him before you go to town. Doesn't really give you anything. I'll be playing Earthshatter, but you can play Fisher with this, yeah. Now I'm getting to the point where I will want some alterations, so I will identify it. Why am I not looking at the stats of any of these items? Why do I not care? And we have previously talked about some of the good stats on my items. So a little bit of this is diminishing returns. So I already have a boot with 1 resist and movement speed. It also has intelligence on it, which is going to be really nice. Hopefully. Okay, I've screwed up a little bit. I'll explain what I screwed up as well. On Frostbling, when you get the option to level it, like you see I'm about to get the option to level Sunder here, I would ideally, back in time, right-click the gem to not level it further. That'll keep the int requirement low. It'll just make it easier. Like, if I didn't have this Lapis Amulet, I would still be okay for now. But you could very often get, like, Oh, I need another boot with 10 intelligence, and you don't want that to happen. So next time that levels, I'm gonna try to right click it to like, it'll go here and not level anymore. And then, but yeah, like the boots are kind of good. I will keep looking at boots, but they kind of need movement speed to be usable. And then the other gear, I'm caring more about sockets this early than I am about the stats on the items. So I would care about rare helmets being decent because I'm not really using the sockets there, and I will care about weapons. And then on weapons, we're looking for physical damage. And this stack can combo with flat physical damage and percentage physical damage. Then gloves, you want resists, always good. If you click C and click on defense, you can have up to 75% of each resist. It's very simple. If you're about to take 100 damage and you have 75% fire resist, you take 25. It's very good. You want resists. You want to be resist capped pretty early. I usually get resist capped by Act 2. Yeah, we'll just keep moving. Strongbox, these can be crafted with transmutation orbs, alteration orbs, etc. Not going to this early, but they're worth clicking. Little mini boss there. There's a lot of mini bosses that we just ignore. Side zone that we're ignoring. Could do it. It does give you a quicksilver. Yeah, max troll is really good for builds. Especially, it's very good for like hand holding and stuff. Like, it's very, very detailed. This filter's pretty bad that I'm using right now. You don't really need much for leveling though.
The ancestors watch over me.
You don't really need much. Right, we're now in the Chamber of Sins. We're about to, next level, get our first mastery, and I'm going to explain those a bit more. I can talk about masteries while I'm doing that. So obviously you saw that I got the middle node in a life thing. And we're about to get a life mastery in that. As long as my test doesn't have any life, it'll give me 15% life. Also, there's a lot of tips in Path of Exile showing you where to go. Like, since this is pointing in this direction, I know that the next zone is here. So that's another way that you'll see a lot of, like, racers will go exactly to, where they're supposed to be. Whispering Essence of Contempt. This is really good. It would be, better if it was, like, a higher tiered essence. They can, like, be better. Because this is the base one, so this is just guarantees 1 to 3 physical damage on a weapon. But it is more than none. Here is another one of these trials. Let's go do that. Now, trials can be really scary if you're trailing the trap like this and you panic. However, if you're just running through them like what I am, then they don't have enough surface area to damage you. You can read layouts in this game, yeah. Yeah. I'll be streaming this at lunch every day. That'll be fun. Although, my kids are sick. I'm terrified. No, I didn't queue. No, I'll be Earthshatter.
That thing! It's
Alright. There. You can log out again to go to town. You can just portal, but I find that you run out of portal scrolls. Yeah, somebody. Alright, we're gonna pick up Seismic Cry here. Some people are using Herald of Ash early as well. And you can do that. We're probably gonna do Herald of Purity. We can do Herald of Ash. It's fun to use. I'll show it to new players. We'll identify those. And then now that the 1 to 4 lightning damage is starting to matter a little bit less, we're going to use the Topaz Ring.
Going? What trouble?
Okay, and we are going to buy a poleaxe for 1 transmute, and we will use the Whispering Essence of Contempt and with Hybrid Fist. So this is a pretty
Going
decent
would be
upgrade.
wrong to do that here.
We're not going to do the mastery I talked about, so you click the middle bit there, and then you pick 15% life. Boom, 375. I'm going to go back to the crossroads. We'll be using the waypoint system a lot.
I cannot do this yet.
Yeah, it should be Bondrasi. We're just zooming. Just zooming to the boss. So now we're going to kill something called a bandit. We can kill the blacksmith whetstone box. This is a rare one. And has something called a rogue exile. A little bit lucky to get early. They are basically alternative versions of us. So if you hold alt, you can see that they've dropped a full armor set. Dropped an absolutely full armor set. Like they wear rings, amulet, a weapon, shield, etc. But yeah, nothing crazy that we need. Also, think of all the subs and resubs during this. Here we're gonna go talk to Creighton. A lot of people help him on the launch just for movement speed. We are gonna kill him. He's a bitch. He dies very easy. And like, you really see how much you can use decoy. It makes everything so free. Like, I'm like in love with decoy totem. We'll go to the first encampment, and maybe you're wondering, how did you open that portal? If you go to hotkeys, at the bottom, use portal scroll. Decoy totem is the most OP skill in the campaign. It really is.
Make it.
We're kind of on transmutes as well. We need more. We have 4 alterations. We can identify this ring. That's good. Life and all res. Not high on either of them, but it'll help. So right now my res is 16, 36, 30. Once we get the infamous crafting bench, it'll be a lot higher. They shouldn't be building Yimmer. Are you sure you're just not looking on different versions? Like different trees? Which trees are not matched? How do you use Frostbite hotkey? That was explained earlier, but it's on my second bar on mouse button 5. Watch this, I needed to type the name. No more channel. I love that it's there on the left. Yeah, it's different sometimes. Bugs out. Ascending nodes. Okay, thanks. Okay, a little mini boss there as well. There's an essence there. We should do that. Another contempt. Now, we are getting a little bit old to use whispering. I think it's muttering. This is a level above. Ah! Guaranteed fist is still guaranteed fist. Oh, that's just because Path of Building's not updated to 3.26 yet. It's not different. But like, we can't force POB to update. The podcast is in 3 hours. I don't want to have a timer open though while I'm doing everything explained. Yeah, it's all explained. The thing. Explained in the notes too. Alright, we're gonna go here in this zone. We're gonna get one other trial for our lab or our ascension. And we are gonna get a skill point. We'll go get the trial first. So it's in a corner. Yeah, but not everybody's on the beta branch. And if we make the POB for the beta branch, then it crashes for everybody that's not on the beta branch. There is no winning. There is no winning. I'm doing a podcast with Mathel, Steel Mage, and Quinn later today. Now, a scary thing with the rare strongboxes is they can have a mod like freezes you. It can be very scary. It can kill you. On softcore, there is no penalty for dying until Act 5, and then there's a very, very small penalty of 5% XP, and then Act 10, once you finish Act 10, you get a 10% penalty. So you virtually don't lose anything when you die on softcore, and on hardcore you lose your character. Well, it goes to standard. Lambs are really good, J6. Alright, and then we just gotta go far in this zone. Oh, blue pack. We're level 18 already, so now we can get a bit of a damage upgrade here. I have 319 damage on Sunder, up to 500 now. Almost doubled our damage again. And you'll feel really, really nice with every upgrade you get. And you also, like, feel stronger all the time in Path of Exile. It's wonderful. You do have to, like, keep upgrading stuff, but it's a very nice progression. It's very fun. What's Layout doing? Alright. By Archbishop Goffrey. I will go back to town. I hope they'll change the Path of Exile 1 Death to be the Path of Exile 2.
Remember.
There, we got our skill point, we got our trial, we can vendor these. Again, right? There's no point in me identifying this because it's not going to compete with the 3-link chest, and I don't have another place to get a 3-link right now, so I don't really care about the stats. Here, however, I can see that the vendor sells me a 3-link copper plate. So if I really cared about an upgrade, what I could do, I can use an anger, get this upgrade, and this will genuinely help me quite a lot. You see my fist mitigation goes to 61%, and now you might be thinking, wow, I take so much less damage from fist now. Now, it's a little bit complicated, and I don't want to go too far into it, but this stat isn't entirely accurate. While armor will help you a lot from small monsters, like the normal monsters that are hitting us, it does also lie to you. So if you're taking, it's proportional to the damage you're taking. So if you're taking a large hit, it might only give you 10% mitigation, and a small hit, it might give you 90% mitigation. It'll never do 100. So it is good. Still useful. I am a lot tankier now, especially towards like physical attacks. I would pick champion if I was Green Bomber. I would follow Ostrix's guide.
I cannot do this yet.
Alright. We're just gonna move through the zone. Now, this is the wood splitter. So that is like a level 13 base. So it is worse than a poleaxe, the base we're using. But if this has like, let's say like 60-70% physical damage and flat physical damage, it could actually be better than what I'm currently using. Because I didn't get a particularly good poleaxe. So it is worth checking this. And it could have had attack speed too. But this is just a big downgrade. And in-game, it's pretty easy. Wait, I already answered J6's question. It's pretty easy in-game to just see how much or how little damage you have. Late game though, it does start breaking down the calculations. Right. Now let's talk a little bit about accuracy. Thankfully on this build it's not something you really need to worry about, but you can see that we already have a chance to miss. 90% chance. However, we're about to take this. You never deal crits anymore, but we can't miss. 100% accuracy. Here's another one. Like you can see, this paved road leads to Alira. That's where we're going. We are actually going to be helping her on this build for the guide, especially. She'll give us rest, so we're not killing her right now. Pretty likely I'll... No, I guess I'll help her too on launch. It's nice on launch to help her. So she'll give us a resist buff. I'm just very used to killing her. Let's see. We go pick up another skill point here, then we're gonna go fight not Arakali, Weaver. There's a threeling red helmet, yellow. Now, this would give me a little bit more flexibility on other links. Yeah, I should have Herald by now, actually. I should have Herald by now. We're not gonna use Seismic Cry right away. I'll buy it for an alteration next time I'm in town. Need to take a toilet break soon, obviously. On YouTube, you can just skip that break when you're watching. In the future,
Thank you, my ancestors. I will repay your
let's see. So now we are about to start caring whether we're using an axe or a mace. Up until this point, it doesn't matter whether we're using a mallet or an axe, or even a staff. But we are about to start curing. So the next points, we're going to start taking axe nodes. Yeah, even I answered him. He ignored my answer too. I think Jasek might be a bot. He just keeps repeating the question. Even though I answered. Okay, let's kill Weaver. There's 2 stages. Particularly dangerous. Especially with Decoy Totem. What happened to your consideration in softcore in PoE? Oh, to go softcore in PoE 1 to make more guides? Oh, that's not something I've ever considered doing. That's something I said I should do. Never actually considered doing that. I would not enjoy the game anymore and then I would quit. There's a thing I should do that. Not that I would. Alright. Pick up everything here.
cannot carry this.
Now there is a staff there. Obviously, staves could be good for us. But now we're about to be locked into the
Speak.
the nodes. Yeah, let's sell them an ID.
Return.
Have a lot of alts. We can pick up a Herald of Ash. We'll set you back 1 alteration. Also gotta buy Blood Rage for later, because I don't have a slot for it right now.
Stay true to you.
I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Right. Let's chuck in Herald of Ash anywhere, and we are gonna go to the Riverways. Actually, that's a lie. We're gonna go back to Act 1. We're gonna talk to Bestel again. So that was the way forward skill point that we grabbed there. Now, a lot of Path of Exile early started just being told what to do. Explaining why to do is kind of complicated. There's a road here that leads you where you're going. Also, I'm going to turn on Herald of Ash. It does like a little bit of a fire explosion. Also uses more damage. This is 80 damage. Here's the next zone. Is it out yet? No, the launch is tomorrow. Get our first axe damage node. Obviously, there's multiple damage types in Path of Exile. Right now, we're predominantly dealing fire damage. Sorry, physical damage. You have like fire, cold, lightning, chaos. Well, you see, we have crazy damage though, considering we don't really have anything. This is a very extremely strong build. Here's a waypoint. We'll go grab that real quick. Have to find oak. Detonate nearby corpses. Corpse explosion is pretty much the highest damage and least balanced thing in Path of Exile. It's what killed me the most by far. By far. Alright, let's kill Oak. Ellie Reflect, LOL. Well, I've died 4 or 5 times to Ellie Reflect in 25,000 hours and roughly 40 to 50 times to Detonate Dead. Pick up the Mana Flask. It is 10 times more deaths to Detonate Dead. I've very rarely died to Reflect. It's not Reflect in the game anymore either.
What do you want?
Oh. That's a good thing to explain. This is a bad flask. You don't really want your mana flask recovering instantly. It doesn't feel very good. You really want it over time, so it's sort of irrelevant for us. We don't super need a good mana flask right now, so it's whatever. We're gonna go back to the Western Forest. We're gonna run straight up to Illyria, and we're gonna help her. We're gonna be like, out of all the degenerates in this forest, you are now our friend. She will give us 15% all resistance. So now already I'm at 46, 54, 63. Maybe take significantly damage from elemental. There. I remember tallying them up. You died more to disconnect than reflect. But like I never died to disconnect. Interesting. I only had 2 disconnect deaths, or 3. Stalling is in 2 hours and 28 minutes. Oh, a rare poleaxe. So this should be a good weapon upgrade. So I'm picking up most rare items at this point. And I'll try to like make note of when it's an item that we're actually interested in and where I care about it. So this I care about because I was hoping to get more physical damage, something that would be a big upgrade. Ellie damage we wouldn't really care about at this point unless our existing weapon already only had Ellie damage. But now in the Val Ruins, which a lot of you will find will be your least favorite zone because you'll get lost here a lot. We have the Corruption Altar. I don't really have anything spicy to use it on, so I will throw it on the poleaxe because it can re-roll it. That's one of the outcomes. It didn't, it just added a white socket. I'm not explaining Corruption to a new player. Just keep future Val Orbs away from your items. Don't use them as a new player until you understand it and watch a full video on them. They can ruin your items. I would like to apologize ahead of time on my lack of backtracking and mostly running straight where we're supposed to go. Because there's at least one guy that has full cleared this entire zone, and he is pissed. But once you know the layouts, there's only like 11 layouts in this zone.
I have opened the way to Kitava.
But he is pissed. There. Here is another mechanic. I will do one and like briefly explain it. I usually avoid these like endgame mechanics though during the campaign. It's not really super worth it, but the monsters that are killed inside get resurrected as part of the ritual. There are 3 or 4 rituals in the zone. Each ritual will be scarier, so the first one will be really easy, and then they'll get harder. Ow. So, for example, let's say that I found this one very difficult, then I would definitely not want to do the next one. Because that one will be even worse. So I'll get some rewards now, but the main reward of this is that we can look at items and potentially buy one. And then if I did this, then like if I did more of them, I'll be able to buy more rewards. So you can do this as a new player. Obviously, you might get the option of being able to buy something good. And there's a deferral mechanic. I don't really want to go too hard into like endgame mechanics that you're not going to see for the next 20 hours. Here is a jewel that is a socketable item for your skill tree. So if you thought the skill tree wasn't complicated enough, there are things that you could put in that enhance it, basically. So that's fun. There's another poleaxe, very good. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I can't have room for it. Any good? Oh, that is massive. So I'll go over that item in a second with you. But that was a very big upgrade for us. It's got high attack speed, it's got physical damage, and flat physical damage. So that was really nice. If you're wondering about reading items fast, that's just something that comes with time. But this takes us from 800 damage to 840 without the Herald of Ash. So like 15-20% more damage, something like that. And we're able to use Blood Rage now once we get some dexterity. Good one for a bit. That was a big upgrade, and the attack speed will feel really nice. Like, very often, I will even like use, for example, faster attacks on Sunder instead of a damage support gem, just because it feels nice. Like, if I ever have a good weapon, I'd be very likely to do that. Because even though, like, yeah, like, more damage is better, but effective more damage can be more important. I was, like, trying to pick up life loss and stuff like that as well. Trying to keep them all upgraded. At this point, we're quite happy to use 3 life loss. Yeah, Blight is a good lead mechanic early on. Yeah, we'll have a video and a guide for this. Scrya, do you know actually when the guide for this will be up? Are you using Frostbite without it buying any bar? It's on my second bar, the one you have to hold control to access to put things on. Don't need to hold control to use it. Tonight in a few hours. Cool. So, at this point, you need to make sure that you have the Apex, or you won't be able to kill the boss. I think maybe solo you can't even get here without it. We're gonna go to town, empty our inventory. Honestly, we could look at the helmet. It's tempting. We don't really need the sockets of my old one, so I can actually put that in.
Return if you must.
Oh. Am they having a normal tab? There, that's fine. So we would keep this for the future in case I do really need the socket pressure. Now, I almost forgot. Oh no, I have to backtrack. Okay. Fast forward 1 minute if you're watching on YouTube. Obviously, we can't really edit these because they're too long. It's annoying. I'm going to very quickly. I forgot to pick up the northern waypoint. I need to show how to unlock a hideout. Oh, I missed this somehow. Actually, a big upgrade for me.
I cannot do this yet.
Yeah, EA still kind of meh. Decent, not the best. Let's see. Alright, so sorry for the backtracking, but I want to show new players how to get their hideout. It's very important, and it'll give you some large buffs. Also, let's get the waypoint. I'm late starting this. No, the raider. Not for lunch. Right. We need to go into this side zone called the Dread Thicket. I just forgot. So in this zone, there will be another side zone. Oh, we can explain beasts too, I guess. Kind of like Pokemon, we'll kill it, and then Einar will come capture it. Once we have one red beast and a few yellows, then we will be able to fight them in his menagerie, and he will let us get some buffs. So you'll have like a list. The one we picked was it'll give us a unique boot. So we could do that. I probably won't use whatever he gives me, but he could give me something really useful. But it's unrealistic that you will have the same experience. Oh, my Herald of Ash turned off. If you like unsocket an aura or something, it'll go offline. Once you find this like blue thing, that is where you need to go. Then you find the lush hideout. Is there a rare? Oh, just a hood. Don't care about that right now. But it was an axe. So in this, we need to kill every monster. There's 2 like unique monsters here. And then 2 more monsters that we need to kill, and then this is unlocked. No, it's unlocked already. Then I think the first time you do this, Helena will appear and give you a hideout. And then you talk to Helena here. And now boom, for the rest of all eternity, you have a hideout. I'm also going to use this. I need dexterity to use Blood Rage. Very nice. Boom. I'm gonna put Blood Rage on middle mouse button. That's where I prefer having it. And we're gonna go to our hideout. And now we get some big upgrades. Now, a very important thing to learn early as a Path of Exile player is that an item can be crafted on while it's white. Even a lot of veterans forget this. But this is huge. So now, and this is the only one you'll have access to right now, 16 to 20 fire res. This one already has stuff. And how does the crafting bench work? Well, it needs to have open affixes. So what does that mean? Like this has 3 suffixes, which is the max for a rare item, so I cannot craft a suffix on this. I could craft a prefix. No good prefixes that I care about on a copper plate though. This has 1 prefix and 1 suffix. It's a blue item. It cannot get more currently. It would need to be rare, and we haven't found the orb to change that yet. This one, however, has an open suffix on our amulet. So I can see that I still need cold or lightning resist. I'm going to put cold resist on that. And I'll put lightning resist on my belt. And now we are already rest capped before finishing Act 2. We're also getting slaughter, which will start generating raid. It's like a passive thing that makes us do more damage. A big part of our ascendancy. Makes us angry. But the crafting bench is huge for that, so remember that like sockets is all that matters early, and that is why, because we can just craft anyway. Alright. Blood Rage, what that does, it starts degenning my life. As you can see, it's not that much, and it also gives us life leech, so as long as I'm clearing, I'm pretty okay. And if we get any item with life regen, I don't know what I have right now. I have 9 life regen. You see that, like, with the leech and stuff, it's fine that I don't have to spam my potions. Grab a new mana flask here. And this jewel that I found, I haven't explained that yet, but these slots can have that. So I would take 2 points and then I could get that. For 7% attack speed with claws. And as you can probably guess, if that was, let's say, 7% attack speed with axes, it'd be a lot more interesting. And they can have 4 stats, so you could have something like 7% attack speed with axes, 5% attack speed in general, 14% physical damage with axes, and 7% melee damage. That could be a jewel that you could find. And then it would be super worth those 2 points. And really cool thing about jewels, there's no like advantage to jewels that you find later when you're level 100 compared to jewels you find now. If that was a rare jewel, it could have been one of the best jewels in the game, which is a cool thing. So item level does not affect that. We are going to take the mastery here for 2 rage on hit with axes. I forgot to say as well, if you've been wondering how I'm applying skill points so fast, that's by holding control down when clicking the node. Well, there'll be no music in the video, but I can lower it. Blood Rage also gives me attack speed and also gives me frenzy charges when I kill something. So for a boss like this, it doesn't really do much. But whenever I'm clearing, it'll give me frenzy charges, which is a huge damage boost in general. Alright, boom. We got a double axe. That is our next base type of axis. So this could potentially be a large upgrade.
I give this warrior of Kitava to you, Tukohama, my father of war.
There. Belt. Doesn't really. So it does have lightning rest like we have on our crafter one, but none of the other stats are important. Mana, lightning rest, good. Duration, flash life recovery rate. I don't really care about any of that. That might be okay, just because it's also a new base type. It is a small upgrade, but it is a lot slower. So in this case, I'm going to not upgrade. If it's basically a side grade for damage, but a lot slower, it's not something I really care about right now. Oops, I must have picked up that gem by accident. The seismic we do want. We don't have a whetstone, so it's fine.
It is good to feel the warmth again, Rama.
Here's another good beat. This one will basically give you a random unique item, so it could be a lot of good stuff. I'll go to town and then I'll show. Oh, I've been upgrading my Frostbling even though I said I wasn't going to. Annoying. So easy to forget. Thankfully, it's easy to buy a new one. Especially that we're in Act 3. Is the PoE 1 story before PoE 2? Yeah. Oh, I need to go to Act 2. Let me log out. No, if your trigger mana cost is 0, you do not trigger mana forged arrows. Alright. Let's talk to Einar here. Visit his menagerie. Oh, nice, yeah, my words. Right, I don't think we need to talk to him. We're just gonna go here and we're gonna click the boot one. Right. That's just some beast from previous characters. Anyway, this is fine. I can now fight this. And, we gotta have this, like, gauntlet of death. This can be dangerous. You could die here. Especially on new characters, because you could accidentally have high-level monsters from your previous characters. Fun way to die on hardcore. So that is really good. I'm obviously not going to use them because it's unlikely that people watching would get one. This would just give me a bunch of flat damage, and it would also give me movement speed and chaos resist during any. It's honestly one of the best things I could have gotten. Only thing better would have been a Wanderlust, another unique item. So this is a first unique item we've found. It's called Dusk Toe, and a Dusk Toe will always be this. If I hold Alt, you can see what changes on the item. So you can see that the damage changes a little bit, and in general, it is the same item.
Bye.
Let's see. Why don't you use a rare belt to craft a fifth axe? So for that, you need something called the blacksmith whetstone, which we don't have. So if I don't have it, I don't have it. We're doing this in an SSF scenario, solo self-found, so I'm unable to trade or buy anything. I did explain that you can use that. You had one. Thanks, Osrix, you too, dude. Alright, let's see. Hey, Minnie, how you doing? There. Did you miss the thing? Did I? I am avoiding talking about some things. It's important to lie to new players. Whenever I'm a new player in a game, I've never really benefited much from hearing about being 10 minutes into a game and hearing about the exception that'll only matter 600 hours from now. Let's see. Alright, let's see. There.
You're simply too stupid to be realistic, aren't you, brute?
Alright, let's kill Piety.
Enough of this!
Alright. There. Let's see. We need to. Oh, I forgot something. I did actually forget something. We need to go back to the city star, and this is the only NPC you actually need to talk to before handing in a quest. I just looked away, I guess. Thought I did it. There's our first foiling as well, but it is blue, which we can't use.
I cannot do this.
It is blue. No, but see, I can't recolor that to red. It's very unrealistic. There. Let's go back to town. Now we've talked to Clarissa, and then we can hand in the key. See what this helmet has. Nothing interesting. And obviously, one-handed sword we will sell.
Watch yourself.
Seen the slam comparison video? Nope. Let's see. Let's look at the POB. Where are we going next? We're going to be going down here. We should also get this now. And then we go down here, and we are on a Spring Essence of Hatred. It's always good to pick these up. It's just really good for crafting whenever you need it, especially whenever you're feeling weak. You can just craft yourself a new item. These like little dischargers, like the blue sparkly monsters you see, are getting buffed. They're actually bugged right now and don't deal any damage. They were one of the most scary monsters in Path of Exile for a very long time, and they're about to be buffed. Part of why they were so scary is because we didn't have that much res before. Let's see. There. So, the way this quest works, which is for busts, you need 3 of them, and 2 are always after the waypoint, and 1 is always before. Never any other way. How do you get POV to work? Well, it depends on the POV. Some POVs are made for 326, which needs the beta branch, and some are made with waiting for POV to update, which just needs POV to update naturally. Depends. If you're getting an error, then it needs the beta branch. Right, here we go. We're gonna go down here. There, now we have Heart of the Warrior. Gives us a bunch of health. So we're going in here for another trial.
I cannot do this yet.
And we're almost at the point where we can ascend. Panicking is the best way you can die to traps. You just keep running, you're usually fine. Yeah. Alright, let's see. There. Yeah, upgraded lab traps always get me because they do so much more damage than normal overlap traps. Yeah. Podcast is in 2 hours. I'll be doing like a little bit more of this. It'll be a shorter one than most everything explained, but it's so top heavy anyway, showing the start. And I will also be playing this at launch, so obviously people can tune in and see what I'm doing. But normally I like to have these for like 6 or 7 hours. But now it'll be a way shorter one, just showing the start of things I need to prepare for the podcast and stuff too. There. Like, previous leagues, I've had these be as long as like 7 hours. Just a bit strapped for time this time. Let's see, we'll pick up that armor. Although we're very strapped on Link, so unlikely that would be something we care about. This bot goes with Quinn, Methel, and Steel Mage. Didn't actually ask Steel. I kind of just told him. I'm assuming he'll be there. Ask the others. All right, turn in the bust.
Stay out of the shadows.
Let's see, are we picking up anything here? Let's see, what auras are we gonna use later? Later, we're gonna have Blood and Sand, Herald of Ash. Oh, I should have bought Blood and Sand by now, actually. And then Auto Extortion, which did we get that yet? No. Well, we can grab Vulnerability. Vulnerability would be nice. A little bit of extra damage. It's a curse. You like debuff the enemy with it.
You are a welcome sight, daughter of Namakanui.
Let's see. And what are we taking next heal points wise? Going down here, and we're gonna get ready to take Warcry nodes soon as well. We grab Juggernaut next. There. Boom. Just starter health potions. So you can see that I'm
What is
like
it?
trying to upgrade those as we continue. Let's see. You can buy auto extract now, just not the option for the rest. Yeah, yeah, we're buying that now and setting that up.
Watch
I
yourself.
might need another item with links though. We need a
Watch
3
yourself.
red now. We might have to go back to our old helmet.
Mate.
We can check the vendors for 4 links at this point. No, there's none. So we'll go back to our old helmet. Blood Rage in our weapon. You can see it's starting to get pretty tight now. Now we're actually using all our slots. Auto Exertion, Seismic Cry, and Intimidating Cry. This will now be auto casting this, which is really nice. Let's see. Okay, so now you can see that we're auto casting. You might have noticed that I enabled this here as well. I'm control or right clicking this to enable it. It's like a new thing they added. Yeah, kind of nice. And then now we're getting Seismic Cry, gives us some AoE, etc. On our abilities, and then our Intimidating Cry, which we don't need on our bar anymore, but we can have it here to keep track of it, is now auto casting for more damage. Now, a big downside to having that on auto cry now, well, not really downside, but you can see that it is currently being used up by my Leaf Slam, so that is annoying. But there is a point we can take later that removes that from happening. I wish it was default behavior that it didn't use it, and that you had to use a point to get that behavior. You'll also notice that like we're starting to have some like mana issues. Like I'm about to use my mana potion more often. You could always either disable the auto cry or you could disable the Herald of Ash. Don't have too many sources of leech right now for mana. We will later. Alright. Elevator ramp for softcore tier 17 extract beyond lasting. I mean, this is gonna be the best league starter for most people. That's why so many people are doing it in the race as well. And there's like, I don't know, 11 different creators all making a video about this build.
My mana is gone.
Is very strong. Need a new potion. Potioning so much. And this layout is very simple. You always go to the left. A lot of essences in this zone. Gilded Axe, that is our next axe upgrade. It is a foiling, but it also is blue, so not much it can do. I don't know if I need Dex or Int the most,
like you.
but I'm screwed. So no matter what she gives me, very unlikely that this could be an upgrade. Kind of need Dex and Int. Part of that though is also because I accidentally leveled up my Frostbling and I kept forgetting. Just kind of annoying. Oh. Wait, what? Did I not get the spool? Oh, I didn't pick up the soul fight. That's funny. There's a thing here we're supposed to pick up. I just forgot. Thought I brought it. I didn't bring it. Exactly 24 hours to logging in? Well, not exactly. 5 minutes off. Yeah, now I'm excited. Oh, this is really good. Weeping Contempt. So that is really good. So this is a better version of Contempt than what we've found before. So what this will do now is it is going to give us slightly higher. So that will guarantee 9 to 15 or up to 9 to 15 fizz on a weapon. It's 25 hours, not 24. Oh. Wait, does it really start at 9 my time now? Sometimes it starts at 7. That's so much nicer. Right, here. This is still fight. 25 hours, no longer excited. True. Hype gone. We'll vendor all of that and that. And we're gonna look see if there's a gilded axe. There's not, so we do need to find a white gilded axe.
Stay out of the shadows.
Now I'm noticing I have no wisdom scrolls anymore. So I can vendor 2 transmutes
What's up?
for 8 wisdom scrolls, because I have a bunch
Bring
now.
me back something nice, huh?
You had that.
Yeah, the earliest I've ever launched has been like 7 for me. There, we ended in the quest.
I cannot do this yet.
There. Here. We kill Versatility. Don't really need to kill him actually. It's nice to though. He's a dick. You'll notice I'm also clicking storm boxes most of the time. They're also like, they just give a bunch of wisdoms and stuff. I think, oh, it's not my first alchemy, it's my second one. So an alchemy, like I explained earlier, it turns an item rare. Fusing is a new gem. So if I use a fusing on this, there's a chance that it links all 3. It could unlink it too, but could turn it into a 3-link, 4-link, etc. This is a Val side zone, and skip those while leveling, but they're kind of like scary zones if you want like a little bit extra rewards, a little bit extra XP. You can do them on softcore though. Really a downside. You can't die in softcore. Rather, you can die in softcore. It'll be Earth Shatter. Little Brutus clone there. Our damage is crazy though. We haven't even had a damage upgrade for a bit, and we have that essence. So even though we don't need one, we're still gonna get one, because it'll be nice on bosses. Obviously we have crazy damage already.
Piety, you are truly Kitara's slave, daughter of corruption.
Right.
This land is the cost of our strength. I will find it.
Full chainmail. We don't need any of that. Now, as a new player, you're gonna feel very, very like hoardy. Like you're gonna pick up every item, go back to town, look at it, and it's gonna take you a long time. Like, items is the most complex thing in Path of Exile. Hopefully, it gives you a little bit less FOMO by seeing me, like, skipping everything. So clearly, they're not that important. Also, the correct way here is when there's one wagon by the entrance. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just skipping everything. So clearly, they're not that important, and I'm doing fine. Very little. Obviously, I'm looting axes. They're important.
I cannot do this yet.
And if I see anything with good sockets, I'll loot that. I need a new mana flask. There. Just get a good filter. It's not going to help new players. Most filters show most things during the campaign. Very
You've done
unhelpful
your
for a new
ancestors
player.
proud, Karui. Now, here's your warrior's death. You'll be
I'm gonna
remembered.
curse the boss. That's that vulnerability symbol above her head, and then we're gonna throw that decoy totem, and she doesn't really do much. She just tries attacking my decoy repeatedly. Curses only last like 8 seconds or something. 8.4. A double axe, that could be very nice. Don't care that much about the sword. Up here, there'll be like a recipe thing for a crafting bench. Make sure you pick that too. Yeah, you're gonna play snaking and everything's gonna be 10 times more expensive. Well, that's the good thing about this build is that it, like, there's nothing that really can be expensive, right? It's a solo self-fun oriented build. We don't need any of these. I mean, we could grab Tectonic Slam for later.
Well.
Some people will want to play Tectonic Strike of Snaking. When I identify the boots, we're looking for movement speed. We'll sell these unID'd. Now, this is probably an upgrade. Because it has like so high elemental damage and it has decent fizz. It's more fizz than my current axe. So I do kind of want it. The issue is I don't have sockets.
Don't do anything I would.
Very low on sockets. It's also like not that big a deal of an upgrade. I'm gonna go for this instead. I'm gonna buy the Shadow Axe. I can't use that until I'm 33. And I'm now gonna use my first Jeweler.
Don't do anything I
So that puts a red and a green. And that already now solves my socket issues. And I have vulnerability and that on this. Now I'm gonna use my Contempt on this axe. And I hit fire damage and fire. And obviously you can see it even has more fizz than this. This is somewhere elemental, but yeah, we're just gonna switch out for this.
Don't do anything I would.
And that is because this can become even stronger. We have this recipe already, right? We got that in sewers. Yeah, we got that in sewers. So in the sewers, you pick up a recipe for this. 40 to 59% physical damage. I don't think we have this yet. I think this is quite a lot later. Anyone in chat remotely remember, because it is at level 32. No, maybe this is in sewers. Anyone remember where this second recipe is from? Sewer is the lowest. Where's the second one from? Okay, well, it doesn't matter. We're going to use the lowest one. It's also a lot cheaper. It's only 4 alterations. And now, with 57, you can see that this was 97 to 152 fizz damage. Compared to my current, which is 42 to 65. So we're going to get an insane upgrade. Oh, I need to talk to a guy in town for a skill book.
You have fun elsewhere.
There. Let's see. I'm gonna start picking up these now. I know the POB actually doesn't necessarily say that, but I'm going insane with the war cries being exerted by my travel skill. It's ossuary. Oh, okay, that's quite far away. Oh. Right now, we already obviously have okay damage. We are one-shotting everything, but we could be one-shotting harder. And that's good. Oh, I also need a new mana flask. Now, already now that I'm in this zone, I could actually go and do the lab. However, oh, another Weeping Contempt. We can keep that for a bit later. Now, because I have that big upgrade waiting for me at 33, it's actually pretty tempting for me to wait to 33. Because obviously I could do it now, but especially because I will be playing hardcore, then I'm going to think about like, well, if I just do it in 3 levels, I'll virtually one-shot the boss, compared to now, I'll have to like maybe dodge, and actually care about what the boss is doing. We'll buy a Colossal Mana Flask. And notice I also don't really care that much about rolling my flasks. I'll care a little bit more on hardcore because I will want something called a bubbling or a seething. So whether on the life flask, whether it's half instant or fully instant. That's because whenever you're playing hardcore, you're very rarely getting killed like, oh no, I'm slowly dying. 10 seconds from now, I will have perished. It's very like instant when you die on hardcore, so it's like, oh my god, I need to heal. You have very little time. Here's what those recipes look like.
I cannot do this here.
What's the best build you have ever played? Lightning Strike. Exploding totems? No, that's the best build I've played on a budget. There's like 2C to kill Ubers. I don't know, there's a few really good ones. Insector was really nice. Hey, you can play EA. No, Soapy. Not saying Spark is crazy. Spark's awesome. Not the best build I've ever played though.
Do not hide in towers built.
Also, he didn't ask my favorite. He said the best. My favorite is Wild Molten Shell. Here. Now we gotta go up the tower. Up, up, up we go. Gilded Axe. That's a good base. Very bad rolls though. Only had like elemental damage. Nothing particularly interesting about it. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep moving up the tower. Ugh. Oh, all the way over here. I just stay up so late tonight. Oh, nice of myself. Congrats, dude.
My mana is gone.
Great. When is stalling? 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'll do a little bit more of this and then we'll wrap it up. Get ready. Can do library. Don't really need anything from it on this build. I don't think. I don't think of anything I would need library from. I mean, buying a level 1 Frostbank would be nice. But kind of just mowing everything down right now. It'll be planned or posted before lunch. So urgent orders wouldn't be bad. I don't know if that's worth doing library for instead of just getting it at 6 though. When can players get into the queue? Queue is usually up 3 hours before the servers. 2 or 3. I think the highest, best I've been in queue, I think I've been double digits once. When I was sitting there hitting enter. Queue is always very fast though. Less than 15 minutes for the queue to clear. It's fine, I have a guide coming for it. It's an okay build.
Now you almost resemble a man, Karui.
Ow. Wait, am I still rest cap? Yeah, mostly. A little bit low on cold, but doesn't matter. Don't matter. As you can see though, we're not having many issues. Slam it away. And our decoy totem carries so hard as well. It's kind of overpowered for the campaign.
Have you ever seen the true face of
See, it's not something you can like keep clutching on, but it's really nice.
The touch of God.
For Dominus, just yeah, decoy totem and beat him down. He doesn't really do much. Like, obviously, don't stand near his abilities. You're sort of too busy with your decoy totem.
Die. The light of divinity.
No, no light. Then he has the second
This
stage.
world is an illusion.
Here,
Exile.
boss. Identified the ring. Didn't find anything good there. I mean, like high life and resist would be good. Could do double Quicksilver. So we are spamming a lot. Whether you're using a single or duo. I find that especially as a new player, it's really nice to just have multiple life and mana costs. I am running out of potions. So now you can see that I'm out of mana potions. And instead of sitting here waiting for things to regen, I can just go back to town. It instantly regens. There's no stupid well to talk to. And we're back in business. You'll kill a lot faster than just running around waiting and panicking. And then boom. I got whatever fits in my inventory and then we'll move on. Oops.
Don't die, please.
Follow a dead river to the foot of Kitava's cliff.
Pulling up for you too. I really hate the well.
I cannot do this.
My mana is annoying. I'm gonna turn off Herald of Ash just because it feels nice. And I have way more damage than I need. I think that that is always okay. Whatever makes you feel better is always a better solution. Boom! Measured Fury. We get one more exerted attack now. So what does that mean? So if you see an Intimidating Cry, it'll hit 3 now, meaning that my 3 next Leaf Slams will deal extra damage. But then on the next level, at level 33, which we're also going to do the lab then and show how that works, is at level 33, we are able to have your travel skills do not exert. And that means that I will basically only use those empowered attacks on my Sunder. But the pops? Yeah, the Herald of Ash is nice. I just like being tilted by my mana. But for lunch, man. Maybe later today. Alright. Get level 33 here, or in the next zone, then we'll go live. I could hit it here if we kill a lot.
I cannot carry this.
There. Thanks, Butland. Nice shitty. Up here is the boss. Got a few more mobs. And then... Oh. Down a decoy so you can slam that instead of me. Then we are now level 33. About to get a large damage upgrade. Let's see, let me just bin that. I need that quest item. Now, for gloves, I do want to look at all of them. There, so I just did some other stuff. Obviously, you could take your time and vendor all the stuff for alterations, but I don't have time for that. Warcries cannot exert travel skills. That fixes our Warcry problem. We're going to identify all the gloves. So this one has very low life, some armor, doesn't really have anything we care about. We care mostly about like the fact that this is a green and a red. So what I'm going to do, since this is attack speed, dex, this is decent stuff. There's an open slot for resist. And this one, we don't really have important gloves right now. I'm going to use this and hope that I get a green. See, if that... kind of annoying. Okay, I'm getting screwed by RNG. We're just going to ignore all of them. Hopefully we'll find a really good one at some point. None of those were particularly interesting. Sometimes lucky, sometimes not. These don't need to be linked, so our damage goes from 1254 to 2.5. So we literally over doubled our damage.
What do you need now?
And now, since we have such a good weapon, whenever we do find a blacksmith's whetstone, they look like these. And we normally would have found one by now. Some of the people playing might have 2 or 3. The way this works, and I'll show you the damage increase, we have 2.5k right now. If I use a whetstone, it gives me 9% more, so I could use this all the way up to 20% quality. It's another 200 damage. So with this, I could have 3,000 sunder damage at this point. Alright. So now, with this in mind, we can go ascend. So now that we've done all the trials, and it'll pop up with like a tablet thing telling you what you're missing if you haven't gotten all of them.
Before the gates of the
Go do this.
labyrinth. Within these walls, the justice.
Hardcore, I see. Let's see. Oh. Ah. I just accidentally clicked the button. Alright, so there is a website which I think is still maintained, PoE Lab. But either way, at least in normal lab, you can pretty much just run north. Just run up top. And that's fine for normal lab. There are a bunch of traps in here, similar to what the trials have been teaching you.
The weary traveler draws close
There.
only as efficient as those he commands.
And now, the weapons are RNG per day. Switches every day. Same with the stone, switches every day. So you need a dual wield sword, sword and shield, or a mace. Mace is by far the easiest. It's very hard to die because all of his moves are very slow. Most dangerous thing is the goddess that does like that barrage above his head. And then you can see that these like lieutenants of rage are coming up. Now the way that works is if I defeat the mechanic, heal will be easier and I will get less reward. If I kill him without killing them, then he will get buffed, but I'll get more rewards at the end. Kinda tricky now that they're all up to not kill them by accident because we do so much damage, but I could have just killed him before they spawned, and then he would have been slightly harder, but I would have got one more key at the end of the lab to get another reward. So I have to kill him one more time like that, and then I get to fight him a final time. That'll be for real thieves. If you die in the lab on soft core, you have to start again from scratch. So it's basically a medium core mechanic. Alright. That was a dead end. Gonna go back. Let's see.
When the time comes,
There's the second lab. So now it'll be a different challenge. And that's the same per day. And just daily. So these mirror spawn monsters. I'm just gonna ignore them. We don't need to make them easier. We're obviously very strong. I'll just put down my decoy totem and just slam him. And this is how I met your mother. That wind slash you just did is actually very scary.
you are inexhaustible. This empire remains filled with emperors in waiting.
Right. So now, the next time I fight him, it'll be for realsies. As you can see, especially fire damage traps, while your fire resist cap doesn't really do much. We can just run through them. We have to hit the levers and move through. And you'll notice that I'm just running straight face first into all the traps, because as long as I'm just running through them, they don't really do anything. Especially in normal lab. Cruel and Merciless lab, the next two are harder. There's a fourth one too that is even harder than that. Dead end. Not important moves. Lab is so comfy after the PoE 2 Sakuma trials. Oh, I actually really like PoE 2 Sakuma. It's one of the things I farmed the most in PoE 2. Autocry is so annoying with mana. Eating my 4 mana potion. Alright, Esperance Trial, last one. As you saw, I mostly just run up top.
Aspirant can afford to be promising.
It is at 10 o'clock, yeah, in the
Our
podcast.
throne is the most
I don't have a
devious
timing
trap
in.
of them all.
Show clock. It's a 1 hour 30 minutes, same time as normal.
Show me your resolve.
Okay,
Triumphant at last.
another unique, not interesting for our build. We'll pick it up. The Gilded Axe could be really good. Wasn't. We're mostly looking for like multi-fizz. So as you see here, right, we have the 13 to 24 fizz, but also the crafted percentage fizz, which makes it a lot better.
You are worth
Now, there is a build called Tectonic Slam of Snaking that a lot of people are going to be playing. I would probably, in this case, use 8% on the Earth Shatter. I don't have that yet. Forgotten to buy it. Yeah, we don't want any of these, so we just click X. I don't care about either of them. They're like special gems that a lot of builds use. Alright, we're gonna ascend though. We're gonna ascend as Berserker.
the savage.
We're gonna
path
grab
is
Crave the
always
Slaughter.
swift and sure.
Alright, I'm taking a quick break. This would be really good right now. I'm just not gonna use it. You would use this though. I just don't like having like very unrealistic things, but like it's like 400 damage and resists and even more damage. Very good right now. Bye belt.
Good
You
luck.
had a good one. Here back. Come back. Let's see. Let's search that out.
How you doing? Don't do anything.
It would be
like-
wrong to do that here.
Okay, let's continue. New class coming on? No, we don't get new classes. That's not a thing here.
I cannot do this yet.
That's not a thing here. Too complicated to put in a new class. We got new ascendancies for a fun event once. That's about it. We effectively get new classes every patch though. I don't know that man. There.
His belly rumbles. He is hungry for me. Haru and Marrakech once fought together. I honor that friendship.
Let's see. We'll pick out that. Let's see if there's any, like, if we got like a, let's say that we got a ring or an amulet, or at least a ring with like 60 life, 50 life, which you can get surprisingly early. I think it is 35-ish. And you could do craftable resists. That would be useful already. Oh, my cat's like meowing at my door. Ah, okay. I'll close my... close my window so she can come in. Hi. Is it cute? Let's see. Well, in a sec, I have to type something. You want up? Yeah, you do. Hi, babes. She's so cute. Lily mentioned it in her... Yeah, Lily's hilarious. There. Let's see. Let's continue. Sorry. Pick up the skill point there. So I need to eat before the
Garon's way
podcast.
took him down into the darkest of nightmares. I felt hunt well.
Check out the Shadow Axes. This could be a really good one. It isn't. So again, if you haven't followed along, attack speed is good. Physical damage is good. High elemental damage is useful, but not particularly great. And yeah, you want the double fizz. Let's see. than our current one. All res. Now we'll keep that. Attack speed with swords. Now this one could be useful to keep. And the reason for that is, let's say that I'm not close to an int node, but we do happen to have a jewel node already. Then putting that in just for the int could like really just save like a fuck up. Like, oh no, I need to switch gear and now I can't. That kind of thing. So utility things like that is useful to keep.
I cannot do this yet.
What's your take on AI Golemancr? It looks really good. Even doesn't look too bad for hardcore. It's not as tanky as champion, but it is tankier this season. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about is the tank is slightly unreliable. It also relies on mercenary and a item. You need funds finding. But it looks really nice. I think it looks great. Palstron has a guide for it. I really recommend Palstron. It's a really good dude. When is stalling? 1 hour, 20 minutes. So I'm probably gonna finish this act and then I'm gonna eat a bit while prepping for the podcast. I'm not gonna end stream. I'm just gonna stall and chill. Normally, like these, everything explained would be just honestly, frankly, better. This is a bit of a lazy one. It's just I had so many requests to do at least something for a play along. I was a little unprepared for this. Here, it's better than nothing. A lot of health issues and stuff this lunch, so I haven't been able to do as much as I wanted to. Amethyst rings are always great to pick up early. Chaos damage used to be something that you really didn't need until even yellow or red maps, and it was mostly endgame things that did chaos damage. But we're finding more and more chaos damage earlier in the game. I don't know if that's the trend that's going to continue staying. It's usually part of the league mechanic, but it has been like increasingly difficult to survive on hardcore with that. It's a bit scary. Oh, looks great, Vanguard, dude. Good to see you, dude. Yeah, I'll be league starting this. So, or Shatter, basically. There you saw I picked up a armor evasion helmet, because that's something that could potentially be useful, especially if it's really good. Say that it has like 50 life, 20 cold res, some stuff like that. Okay, it has none of that. Like some stats, a little bit of life, no res. Games like this is all about what could be. Fun scale boots. We're excited for that because that's an armor evasion base. So now we're hoping for high movement speed. We got nothing. Don't know, we'll find out tomorrow, Vanguard, dude. It will though. Not worried about that. Here, let's see. We're gonna go down here. Some more res here. This is very easy to res cap on the way we're doing this too, because you actually get like, you get res from Illyria, you get res from the skill tree. So it's just incredibly easy to fit. Sacred Life Fast, we'll pick that up. Also, we're one-shotting everything right now. Let's see. Let's identify the amulet. Nah, nothing really. Int on the amethyst ring. Has Quinn said what he's gonna play? No, but we're doing a podcast today, so we'll find out. Hey, Shrine. Alright. This is Duresso, does mostly cold damage. And he'll especially target your last known location a lot, so moving a lot. Very, very useful here. Don't backtrack. It's very easy to like backtrack into a boss move and die that way. Moving in consistent circles is really good. You could also backtrack into your decoy totem. Look at that. So that's a good thing to be aware of. It's actually why minions or golems, etc., can get you killed. Because the boss could be targeting like a minion or a totem or something like that, and you happen to be there when the attack goes off. Hi, Luna. Little cutie. Two Bengal cats. Alright,
Yes.
none of these are particularly anything interesting. Our test, first off, obviously we're relying on it for a 3-link, but we also have decent resistant life on this and armor. And we can even craft like a little bit more armor. No movement speed on the boot, so we disregard that. Energy shield item, we don't care about that at all.
I'm watching you.
Wax on, wax off in circles, yeah.
Take care.
Let's see. Now, you can stash things, by the way. Part of the reason why I don't is I like to show that you really don't need to buy stash tabs early game. So, like, when you're going to be playing Path of Exile for a long time and you realize, like, wow, this is a really good game, we don't have any pay-to-win in the traditional sense of, like, you can't buy, like, an axe, you can't buy, like, stats or anything like that, but you can buy quality of life, like a currency tab like this, or bigger tabs, or just more tabs. But for trying out the game, you can easily play for like 100 to 200 hours for free to try it out and see if you like it. But you'll notice that your stash will fill up and it'll be pretty annoying to inventory manage. That's how they get you. It's very fair monetization though. Once you spend $30 to $50 on the game, you realistically never need to spend money on the game. Most people end up buying supporter packs just for the cosmetics. So that's really good. And like, I've talked to my viewers about this a lot, and very many people will say that they spend more money on Path of Exile just because they feel they aren't getting like juiced like every other game these days. There's a lot. Pay to look good? Yes. Yep. The PoE 2 stash tabs work for PoE 1. Yes. So if you buy a stash tab in PoE 2, you get it in PoE 1. If you buy a stash tab in PoE 1, you get it in PoE 2. Forever. Same with cosmetics. If you buy a cosmetic in PoE 1, you will at some point get it in PoE 2. Not every cosmetic is made and ready yet for PoE 2, but they have promised that every cosmetic in PoE 1 will be available in PoE 2. So that's crazy. Everything that's available in PoE 2 is also available in PoE 1. Yeah. Going out? I think she wants out. I will let you out. See, this is why pausing would be great. What should we get? Tomorrow! We're gonna be so nice as a cat owner. And, my wife is, going to Denmark to visit her, like, dad and, sister. I'll be alone with the cats for 3 weeks. They'll probably be in my room a lot, causing havoc.
I cannot do this yet.
Turno Herald? Yeah, earlier. The socketable tab session isn't available in PoE 1. Yeah, I forgot that we have a socketable tab. I don't even know if I bought it for PoE 2. Alright. If you die after a count on keyboard, that's going to make an amazing clip. I mean, now PoE pauses, and I probably wouldn't have them in the room while doing bosses. Depends how chill they are. It's also like, I wouldn't mind that much. I love my cats. They're amazing. If I die, I die. I love my cats.
The Black Spirit walks amongst us.
Amazing little creatures. Another unique. It's a useless one, however.
I honor you with a warrior's death.
I might have seen some axes there, but they're one-handed axes, and we don't really have any interest in that. We only care about two-handed axes. This is good. A little bit low and stuff. We can fit the int requirements, so let's swap, I guess.
What?
This is more sockets, and it's slightly more life. More of a side grade than an upgrade, though. But yeah, you need to identify uniques before you vendor
You will
them.
be remembered.
And especially as a new player, there's nothing wrong with hoarding uniques early. Especially this patch, there are a lot of common and cheap uniques that actually might be quite valuable due to changes with the upcoming mercenary system that's being added to PoE. Oh, nice mini. That's funny.
The way to a god's heart.
I like the level of GTO.
Guts.
There. So this zone is pretty dangerous. A lot of bleed in here, and at this point you have a hard time getting bleed immunity. So you can get it on mana flask by rolling them, or a life flask. So I can show that now because we do have a bunch of currency. Normally you wouldn't actually roll for this though, because it will cost like a decent amount. But there's a chance that you get lucky and get it fast. You also could just find it. This is a really nice flask that we would keep because it has the instant recovery. And then, yeah, a little bit unlucky. But we were hoping to get bleed immunity. And what that does is basically if you get bled by a monster, then it'll remove it. It won't give you immunity before that though. So you need to like use it reactively. But this zone is very scary. Alright. These are particularly scary. They'll summon a bunch of monsters, and then when you kill them, they will explode. So like these monsters on the way back here, you can see that they have like a huge scary effect. It wasn't always so scary. It used to be very subtle, and it would do 6 times more damage or something. So for a lot of people that have played for a while, that's the thing that's killed us the most. Very scary. Here is a 4-socket glove. So this could be a really nice upgrade for me, because now I can use a a fusing to hopefully link it. It didn't link. I was a bit unlucky. Now, to improve your odds of linking, the quality stuff that I showed on my axe earlier, that is on armors too. I don't have one yet somehow. I don't know how I haven't found one yet, because it's on my filter. If you get a 20, let's say that these are 20 quality, they would be easier to link than with 0.
Well, Brute.
It's always
Let's
easier to
not
get
above
more
ourselves.
sockets and more links by having quality on the account. So, Heidi's very scary, has a rotating beam, just stay kind of close to her, keep hitting her. Decoy Totem doesn't really do anything at this stage. And then after she's out of this stage, then you can put down a Decoy Totem. She will kill it pretty fast though, she is very scary.
Calm wasn't half the man you are, Marauder. It was.
Alright, let's see.
Piety. Betray me, and I will have your head.
There. So now we're in the harvest. There's a few teaching things here, and we'll wrap up here sadly. We do have other everything explains that go longer, and there is a lot of good info in those, even in the slightly updated ones. There wasn't that crazy many changes in 326. Normally these go do longer for those that like long form content.
Body to kill for.
Let's kill Malagaro. He doesn't really have any special mechanics, he'll just like explode the purple thing. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't stand in the mechanic that looks like it's about to explode.
Your sickness is ended.
But there's another boss here, Dodri. There's a lot of teaching mechanics that there's actually a lot of veterans that don't even know. Valor, the Thurba told you to stay away from your item. It can completely ruin it.
Now you are simply gorgeous.
Chevron, just the lightning abilities. Decoy kinda takes care of her very easily. And she teleports after she does like the healing lightning. Fine. Dodri, however, kinda scary.
Necessity demanded.
So, Dodri, really want Decoy for. She will eat your curse. Look now, boom. You see that purple hue around her? That's her eating the curse, so she's no longer debuff, and she does 30% more physical damage with extra chaos. What's her chaos resist? 0. So it's effectively just her getting 30% more damage. Very scary. Oh no. My inventory was full. Mostly because I'm being lazy with my inventory management.
What do you need now?
Identify that. I
I'm
know if I'll
watching
use
you.
it though. There, Celestial. So now we're getting +1 all maximum resistances. So how does that work? Now I can get 77, 76, 76. Get another one from this. Honestly, very nice. And then it doesn't work for us right now because we have pure evasion gloves and pure evasion energy shield there. But later on, it'll have armor on every piece, and then we'll get another +1 max rest from this mastery. We don't need to take that now, though. We don't need to take that now. If we're struggling on res, we can get additional res here. And also, Warrior's Blood is really nice for regen. They'll take care of our T-gen from Blood Rage. Oops. I would have run back. Oh, he's doing an explaining run. This helped me a ton before. That's good. Okay, this one's probably the worst one I've done. I just wanted to do once I had something out. I'll do a better one at some point. I mean, I'll keep doing them.
Who create the most beautiful of nightmares together. Creation, out of the realm of the gods.
How's the health? Eh, pretty bad. Health update on Twitter.
One true god.
Now exile!
Alright, here's Malachi. He has pretty high damage, but he's basically a glass cannon. So like that move will do a lot. The red balls that Piety sends out is really easy to be stunned by, and this Chun-Li move does a lot of damage. But the entire fight has like no health. So it's incredibly easy.
Now exile!
He basically has no damage. I mean health. Especially on this build, we do so much damage. This fight in the gauntlet was so cool. Wait till the next one. Sorry, Piety.
Now, let us see if you truly understand what it means to be nightmare.
I don't know, do I? You can curse him freely. There's no like curse mechanic on any other boss than Dodori.
I gave my life.
The only one that eats your curse.
Gave me so much more.
Did pretty good damage though. It's gonna destroy his hearts. His Horcruxes, sorry.
Accept the gift of immortality.
He's basically telling you to play softcore.
Nightmare. Why? Are you so in love with death?
I bugged out a little bit. Okay, nothing we particularly care about. We can grab whatever, fill up our inventory. And then now we're in Act 5. I'm gonna end it here and go eat. Sorry for doing a short everything explained. I'm not gonna end the stream, I'm just gonna end everything explained. Normally I do a longer one. Maybe I'll do another one mid-league this time. But yeah. Hopefully it helped a little bit. Obviously it's very top heavy anyway with most explanations start. Hope you guys enjoyed everything explained. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. So if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.